On today's episode, we'll be talking about the top moments from this Chicago Bulls season. We'll also be going over our favorite past moments that make us appreciate this season and what the Bulls were able to accomplish. And finally, we'll be finishing off this episode talking about the Bulls' playoff record against defending NBA champions. We'll get into all that and more on today's Locked On Bulls.
You are Locked On Bulls, your daily podcast on the Chicago Bulls, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Today's episode is brought to you by PrizePicks. Check out PrizePicks.com and use the promo code NBA or go to your app store and download the app today. PrizePicks is daily fantasy made easy. Now, I'm one of your hosts, CEO Hayes. That is the voice of Chicago. Pat, the designer, is in the building. What's going
Good
on,
with
Pat?
y'all, man. How y'all feeling?
Hopefully
Playoffs,
everybody's
baby.
feeling pretty
Woo!
good. Yeah, playoff. But, bro, Sunday, it's going down. But until then, when we have playoff games to talk about, we're going to be talking about some of our favorite moments from this past season. Pat, I'll let you kick it off, man. What were some of your favorite moments this past season?
Oh, man, dog. First off, live calling these games, there's so many moments that you look at and you're just like, yo, did we just watch that happen? And for me, I mean, I think it's got to be everybody, right? Like, number one's got to be DeMar's game winner versus Washington. Like, back-to-back, second on New Year. Like, it was one in 1 year, one in the other. December 31st, January 1st. It was a great way to start the year off, man. I guess the upsetting part was that we felt like we should have been beating Washington. But, I mean, turnaround, Jay, corner, fadeaway over Bradley Beal, cashing that mug. Dog, that's such a high point for me. What else would I have to say from this year, dog? I mean, there was so much. Here's the weird thing, like, right? Like, we've gone through so much of this season, like the second half of the season, just like, please help us get here. Like, what has happened to our team that we haven't had a ton of those moments? But I mean, dog, you got to say, like, for me, DeMar's streak, like breaking a Wilt record, dog. Breaking a Wilt record.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Like, and then you start going through it, right? Because we all Bulls fans. We know what it is. So we're going through it and we're just like, where's Jordan on this list? Hey, where's Jordan on this list? When you see like Wilt, DeMar DeRozan, like that was such a dope moment in the season, man. And just seeing like, I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you, dog. As crazy as it is, I know it just happened yesterday, but I mean, don't you got to throw P. Will on there? Coming back from injury, 35 points. Like, for me, I mean, like, those are some big moments, dog. And I feel like those are moments that can shape your team moving forward, especially coming into this first playoff series. So, like, some top moments for me, man. I really, dog, if you haven't enjoyed this season, I've said to a lot of mugs on my side, like, if you haven't enjoyed this season, that means you didn't watch 82 games and us win 22 of them. You know what I mean? Like, that's what it because I have had a blast this season, live calling games. Of course, as of recently, it hasn't been as fun, but I mean, other than that, this Bulls team has been so much fun this year, bro. Like, here's the difference. The season flew by.
Yeah, it absolutely did.
These last 5 years, the season ain't flew by, bro.
Yeah.
What's some of the moments for you, dog?
Like you said, the DeMar game winner for sure, the back-to-back game winners, that was just such a special moment and a special streak, right? That was in the midst of a 9-game winning streak as well.
Yes.
That was just a fun time for like, because it had been so long, right? It had been so long since we've seen something like that done by a Bulls player or in history. When you talk about breaking a Wilt record on top of that, and you know, some of the better or some of my favorite moments too were early in the season, just because for the Bulls to start off the season 4-0, right? To have that 4-0 streak after what we've been through the last couple of years was just fun in general. To just the preseason to the season and just, you know, getting excited about it all. It's just been great to see. But you got to, like you said, you got to throw in Patrick Williams' game as well, because it was good to see that man after everything he went through, not having a training camp and stuff like that because of injury, then going down with the major injury. It was this season, like you said, it's just been a fun season. And yeah, it sucks how everything happened down the stretch. But overall, the season it's just been so many great moments. The DeMar, he's too little thing that's like the lock screen on my phone was just a great moment as well. It's just it's been some down moments, but it's been
Now,
some really,
now,
really good ones as well. Go ahead.
a moment not in Bulls' favor, but a moment from the season that's got to be one of the greatest moments in NBA history is Tony Bradley trying to get tough with Ja Morant and Steven Adams just like,
Steven Adams picking up,
come on,
yes.
bro. Come on,
Man,
buddy.
listen.
Come on, big fella. You know what I'm saying? Like,
He didn't
dog,
even
that was
know he
one of
was
them.
moving. Yeah,
Bro, it was one of them. It was like, yeah, we showing some toughness. I like it. Show me
yeah,
no, Tony. Oh, no. Fam, you saw Tony Minutes get cut immediately after that. Like,
exactly. Like it had to. Like you can't have your backup big man getting completely demolished like that. Like the fact that it was effortless. He didn't even like Steven Adams didn't even break a sweat, nothing. It wasn't a second thought like, hey, can I pick this guy up? It was literally,
dog,
all right, let's just go. We're gonna go ahead and back you down for a
I
second, man.
was dying laughing at that, bro, just cracking up. And it was one of those things where it was just like, hey man, listen, we not those guys. We not the tough guys. We not the we gonna
You're
be in
not
your
that guy.
face.
You're not that guy.
You're not that guy. You're not that guy, dog. That's exactly how I felt, man. I mean, like, and I will say this, dog. The fact who was like, of course, we talking about moments, but like, who was the player this year that had you out of your seat all the time? For me, Javante.
Oh yeah.
Javante. Oh my
Javon,
God, Woo. I
I
ain't know you was jumping. Like, I knew you was jumping, but jumping like that, who was yours, dog?
Yeah, Javante, it's definitely well, you got to give it to Javante. Because there's a time in every game where he almost gets an all-time great dunk. He just sometimes they rim out, right? Javante's just that guy when it comes to that. I will say this for me, it was Io. We almost didn't mention him, is because I said in my preview before the season started, we're not going to see Io very much, and if we do see Io a lot, something's gone either very, very wrong for this
Yeah,
team or something's gone very, very right. That was my direct quote. And I'm glad that it was something going very, very right, because seeing this young man mature in the way that he has, seeing, him start off the season getting minutes just because he was trusted defensively, and that
yeah,
role continue to grow to now he's our starting point guard because Lonzo's down. But it's just been so fun to see this kid and what he's been able to do in year one, and the potential is through the roof for him.
yeah.
So
And for me, even seeing him, fam, there's so many moments from this season, bro. But like Trey Young being hype after
mhm,
having like a fourth quarter versus Io,
yeah.
and all of Bulls Nation just being like, boy, we just played you 3 games and you couldn't score a bucket on him. Stop trying to get in my mans right now. Like, stop playing with me right now. You're not finna. Yeah, y'all won that game. Good job. Hope you enjoyed that one. Like, dog, for us to be able to be chesty about like clamping down Trey Young and
Yeah.
just being like, bro, like you gotta relax. Like Io came to play in this NBA. I gotta give that man's credit, man. Give him his flowers on his rookie year. He's not gonna be in contention for rookie of the year because
Mhm.
defense don't mean that much in the rookie of the year category. But I mean, dog, you got to talk about him as somebody who, like, at one point he held not among rookies, but among all NBA players, he was the best on-ball defender in the NBA, covering 93% of the person that he was covering. Like, that's a ridiculous. I didn't even know we was keeping track of that. Let's be real. Y'all know that's how them stats come out. All of a
Mhm.
sudden, you just be like, and he was covering 93% of them at half court on a Tuesday, and he's the only player to ever do that.
That's
What,
them LeBron stats when they just want to
bro?
come up with something to give to LeBron. That LeBron is the only player over 35 with a receding hairline to score 40 points in a game. There's stuff like that they'll come up with for LeBron.
With his left
Oh,
hand while
yeah,
looking
with
at
his
it
left
before
hand.
he takes the
Yeah,
pull up.
yeah. But
Nah,
yeah,
man. But
man, this has
go
been
ahead.
and I know people watching this. I hope that they really take some time out to think about their favorable moments as well, because there were a lot of really good and great moments over the course of this season.
Yeah,
Um, Zach, even like, listen, I know Zach has been playing. It was first the thumb, the back, the knee, right? But I think people forget too that there was a point in time, especially with him and Lonzo, their chemistry was so great. I can think of a bunch of fast break dunks from Lonzo to Levine that were just beautiful, and I love to see what they're going to continue to do as they continue to grow together as a backcourt as well. But hey, this was a fun season, man. It
yeah,
was a fun season.
bro.
Um,
I mean, listen, and the next topic is gonna be the reason why.
Yeah, and we'll get into that. So next up, we're gonna get into some of our worst moments from the Bulls' last 5 seasons and why that makes us appreciate this team even more. But first, I got to talk to you guys about PrizePicks. So NBA fans, are you looking for a daily fantasy option for the NBA? Then you need to try the award-winning app PrizePicks. PrizePicks is daily fantasy made easy. And I know you guys are going to love it. It's easy to use. You pick 2 to 5 players and an over under on their projections, and you can win up to 10 times on any injuries, just you versus the projected numbers. Injuries can be made in 60 seconds or less. It's that easy. Prize Picks is safe and offers fast withdrawals. Use the award-winning app on both the App Store and Google Play. For a limited time, Prize Picks has an exclusive no-brainer offer for all of our listeners. Users get $50 for free if a player in your first Prize Picks entry scores a single point, but you must use the code NBA. That's right. This is an exclusive offer available to listeners of Locked On Bulls. Sign up today and use the code NBA for $50 free if a player in your first Prize Pick entry scores a single point. Now, moving on from that, I also got to talk to you guys about BetOnline. And
Man.
BetOnline is your number one source for all your betting stats and sports info. Find all the latest sports developments, league reviews, and news, including this year's basketball playoff and the start of the Major League Baseball season. BetOnline is your continued source for all your sports wagering information, from live betting to playoffs to esports and more. Head to the website today or use your mobile device to learn more about the trends and action. BetOnline, where the game starts. All right, Pat. It's been a rough go for Bulls fans over the last handful of years. Since Jimmy Butler was traded, it has been very, very rough for us, fam. And I think sometimes people, us as fans, right? I'm not saying just the fans, us as fans, we forget what we've come from, right? What the Jim Boylan era, the Fred Hoiberg era, like all that's been going on. So now we're going to talk about some of the worst moments from the Bulls' last 5 seasons and why that makes us appreciate this team a little bit more. Go ahead and get into it, Pat.
Fam, I'm gonna be honest with you. The Boylan era was so bad. The Hoiberg era ain't that bad to me. Like the Hoiberg era was bad, but the Boylan era was so bad that I look at the Hoiberg era like, man, we made the playoffs though. Team had no direction. Nobody really wanted to be there. Nobody knew what the heck was going on. D Wade was back for some reason. He like the one time he want to sign here, bro. All time low for me as a Bulls fan. D Wade leaves. And we watched an entire season of pick and roll and alley-oops to Cristiano Felicio. And I left the offseason saying the Bulls are going to pay him money. And they paid that man. $80 million?
Wait,
over
you got
four?
$80 million?
What was Cristiano Felicio's contract? I feel like I need to go back because I'm pretty sure he made about $80 million, 72 maybe, 72 maybe over 4. Bro, when I tell you that I knew it was coming and could not believe what I was seeing, and I just knew the Bulls were absolutely heading in the wrong direction. And at that point, they did not care about getting in the right direction. That was the lowest point for me as a Bulls fan. When he got that contract, bro, I'm trying to find this. I made it way too much. Felicio remained one of the biggest salary cap anchors in the entire NBA. He was paid in total roughly $32 million in the past 4 years. I gave him way too much. It felt like $80 million with how weak he was, bro.
Yeah.
I just knew that this Bulls team was not trying to move in the right direction in the slightest. And that was a low point for me, dog. And that's why seeing AK come in here, bro, just take over, give everybody a year. Show me why you're supposed to be here. And when Denzel Valentine took that 3 and you heard, oh no, that's when I knew we were going to be okay.
Yeah. some of the moments that stick out to me, when Klay Thompson set the record for 3-pointers made against the Chicago Bulls. And it was one of those nights where they literally were handed like, oh, we're going to go get the record tonight. That's how much they respect the Chicago Bulls. They literally were sitting on the sideline with Steph Curry with a damn checkboard in his hand, looking like, oh, you're going to go get the record tonight. We're going to go get you the record tonight. That pissed me off. Then on top of that, the whole thing, this is one of the things that just takes everyththing from the Boylan Gar Forman era and just puts it in there. We're going to get younger and more athletic. Proceed to sign D Wade and Rajon Rondo. This is what makes me appreciate A. Kane Eversley and what they do and the vision that they have, because that was just something that was just looking at it like, wow, really? Come on.
You want that Klay Thompson game to sting just a little bit more?
What's that?
How many dribbles he take in that game?
Oh man, I don't even remember, but I remember it wasn't much. How many dribbles did he take? 4 dribbles. God damn.
Man scored. He scored 60 points. And he took 4 dribbles the whole game, bro. That's mind-blowing, bro. That was 2 years ago. That feels like a lifetime.
Yeah.
It feels like a lifetime, bro. Just, bro, the whole Jim Boylan being hired. If you're not excited about what you're seeing right now, knowing that Jim Boylan was our head coach, we are the Chicago Bulls. We literally own 2 of the dopest people to ever be a part of this sport in Phil Jackson and Michael Jordan. 3 if you count Dennis Rodman. I count Dennis Rodman. And we were down to Cristiano Felicio and Jim freaking Boylan. Dog, I mean, that was such a low point in this franchise, bro. Like, for me, it was just seeing where we are, just seeing that, like, the things that we're upset about as Bulls fans in a game in, game out basis sometimes. Like, every now and then I have to tell myself, like, man, that's trivial. Like, listen, you should be playing defense. That's not trivial. But, like, oh, I didn't see enough hustle on that running out to the corner. We can fix that. We can replace those guys. The foundation of this team being what it is now, and seeing how AK was that first year where he would be just sitting there in the suit and Wendell Carter dunked that basketball wide open and it hit the front of the rim and he fell on his back and you just saw AK go, yeah, I'm glad to be where we are, brother. I mean, bro, like, there's so many bad moments to look back on, bro. Like, we have really, it feel like the Bulls are that awkward teenager that, like, you look back on your old pictures and you're just like, oh God,
yeah. Oh, let's not even mention the loss to the Celtics in the United Center, in which we lost 133-77.
You could have gone without mentioning that one. That one's
no. I mean, we got to mention that one. Like the Bull, that was a terrible game, bro. Like, it's been so many bad moments, man. The fact that even that Felicio, like, and don't get me wrong, Archie Diacono, like, I like Ryan a little bit.
I like Arch. I ain't gonna diss Arch.
I like Arch a little bit, but, like, it's just, man, looking at the rosters, looking at some of the starting lineups we had, like, the fact that Zach LaVine is all but certain to sign a contract extension with Chicago. And this is where people say that Zach LaVine doesn't deserve the max. Look at what the Bulls gave him since he's been here.
Yeah. Dog, when I tell you what y'all know about a Walt Lemon Jr.
Yeah.
What you know about a Cameron Payne before Phoenix. And listen, it's okay to say Cameron Payne got better. Must be like, the Bulls missed on him. No, he got better. I don't know if y'all watched him or not, but he got better. I mean, man, when we drafted Paul Zipser.
Yeah.
What you know about a Paul Zipser, bro? There's so many moments, bro, in the last 5 years that you look at and you're just like, you love the fact that at All-Star break, they went and had that conversation and they just asked other teams, like, what do you think of this team? And them owners were honest. Y'all are the laughing stock of the NBA. And that moment for Michael changed everything for Bulls fans. Like, for the first time, having that moment to open up. And it's we're in the playoffs, bro. That was 2 years ago. That was All-Star break 2 years ago. And we're in the playoffs. Let's go. Let's go. Hey, man, I'm hyped right now, man. Just like AK fixed this team, kind of on the low. He ain't paid nobody really yet. You know what I'm saying? RockAuto can hook you up that same way. We got to tell you about RockAuto.com before we get into this next segment, man. This episode is brought to you by RockAuto. With ever-increasing numbers and makes and models, it's now impossible for your local chain auto parts store to stock all the parts you need. Why endure pointless, seemingly intimidating questions? Is your Odyssey an LX or an EX? And wait while the person behind the counter orders the parts on a computer, choosing the only brand their warehouse happens to carry. You have computer access to rockauto.com at home and in your pocket. Why choose to spend 30, 50, even 100% more for the same parts from the chain store or car dealership? Like a Honda Odyssey fuel pump. It's $353 at a chain store. On Rock Auto, $216. It's a family business serving do-it-yourselfers for over 20 years. Their prices are reliably low for every customer, and they have everything you could need: brake parts, tail lamps, motor oil, even new carpets. So here's what you gotta do. Go to rockauto.com right now and see all the parts available for your car or truck, right? Locked on in there. How did you hear about us box? So they know that we sent you, man. Amazing selections, reliably low prices, all the parts you will ever need at, let it breathe, we're heading into the playoffs. RockAuto.com.
There you go. Well, Pat, last topic of the day. We got to talk about it. Bulls have some pretty good series in their history against defending NBA champions. We swept Miami. We played one of the best first round series of all time against Boston.
Yeah.
Now they were missing some pieces then, but we had a great first round series against them. For Bulls fans, we're gonna eventually break down what we can expect from the Milwaukee Bucks. We're actually gonna do a crossover episode with the hosts of over there on Locked On Bucks. But to talk about and bring up the Bulls' history and just some of the things that we could possibly hope to see against the defending champions in the Milwaukee Bucks. The Miami series, we swept Miami. One thing that I'm always going to remember about that series is Andres Nocioni saying we're not going to sweep Boston. I mean, it's not going to sweep Miami, and then we swept Miami. Shout out to Nocioni, by the way. So, what hearing that? I get it. It's completely different teams, completely different makeup. But can the Bulls simulate some of that type of playoff success? Listen, both of these playoff series were exciting. The Miami game, even though the Bulls did sweep it, was a super exciting series. And that Boston series, like I said, probably the greatest first round series ever. What do you think about it?
Here's my thing with it, right? You never know how the playoffs is going to go. They're the playoffs for a reason. Nobody picked the Bucks to win the championship besides Charles Barkley. I know Bucks fans that didn't pick the Bucks to win the NBA championship last season. Guess what? Giannis was hosting that MVP and that championship trophy at the end. I'm not saying that I'm trying to bring some of that similar mojo in here, but hey, we're not going to sweep the Milwaukee Bucks. I'm probably right either way. But no, dog, you know what it is? Like, playoffs is such a different beast, and you really never know. And it's really about, listen, it's all about talent, want to, understanding of the moment, and a little bit of fortune.
Yeah.
The Bucks had a little bit of fortune last year. Bucks had a lot of bit of fortune last year if you look at how their matchups went. I don't know if this is one where you can sweep the Milwaukee Bucks, but I'll tell you what, I watched those first two games against the Bulls while they were missing quite a few pieces, and they made it competitive. Now, these last two games, they didn't make it competitive. Why? Couldn't knock down shots. If you can knock down shots in this series, you can make this thing competitive. If the Bulls can make it competitive, that means you're close to winning a game. I don't know if we're going to have one of those Miami moments, But if this team gets hot all of a sudden, and Billy, we've seen them the last 2 games get hot shooting the ball, you could have a Boston moment. You could fight your way to a 7th game, and anything can happen, man. Anything can happen. So is it pie in the sky, dreaming, hoping, wishing, praying? Yeah, it is. Guess what? It was back then too. Guess what? We went into Miami. You know what we always saying? That's fun season.
Yeah.
Guess what we saying right now? It's fun season. What's your thoughts on it, my guy?
Man, listen, the thing with this team is that we've seen so many ups and downs. And I like I said, I understand people being down on the Bulls right now and their chances. Shout out to Charles Barkley. But with that being said, you like to your point, you never know. Like what it comes down to in the playoffs sometimes is getting hot at the right time, right?
Yep.
Discovering some type of matchup. And also, if we look at it, the Milwaukee Bucks did sweep the Chicago Bulls. That's very rare that a team sweeps a team in the regular season and then turns over and does it again in the postseason if they face. So we'll see how this goes. It could very well be a sweep. Like I'm not well against the Bulls, not the Bulls sweeping the Bucks, but it could very well be that. But what the heart that this team played with her, if that can be recaptured, I know we're missing Ball, right? And I know Caruso. We'll see what the week off does to his back. But if that team can recapture that heart, anything, to quote Kevin Garnett, anything, I'm not going to scream in people's ears, but anything is possible. And you know the fact that we did have those series and like you said against Miami, nobody expected us to sweep them. We were expected to give a competitive series, but not to sweep them in the way that we did. That Boston series, I can't remember who was. I think KG was out that season, that series, right? He was hurt and out that series. But still, what we were able to do and deliver just a game that was just, and we very well could have won that game 7 as well.
Yeah.
I just want, at the end of the day, whatever this team does in the playoffs, if they can play with heart, they can play with some determination, if they can, lock in defensively when it's needed. It's sometimes it's too much to ask them to lock in defensively the whole game, even though that's what they have the ability to, and that's what I want to see. But if they can do that in some key moments, this series can be a lot more interesting than some Bulls are giving this team credit for, is what I'll say.
And even if it's not, y'all, like, you have to understand, before you succeed, you must first fail. I know somebody said that before me, but I can't think of who it is. For some reason, I'm thinking Bruce Lee, but I know that's not right.
That sounds like some Bruce Lee would say. But yeah,
it sounds like some Bruce stuff, don't it?
Yeah. A lot of times, growth comes through failure. So we'll see.
Y'all got to see this. 1985, lost in the Eastern Conference first round. 1986, lost in the Eastern Conference first round. 1987, lost in the Eastern Conference first round. 1988, lost in the Eastern Conference semifinals. 1989, lost in the Eastern Conference finals. 1990, lost in the Eastern Conference finals. And then they won a championship.
Yeah. People forget that it takes progression. And so, yeah, listen. And
you got a team young enough to do it now.
Yeah, we definitely do. And at some point we need to talk about this. And that'll probably be more of an off-season content, is that I really do see it now that Patrick Williams may be the best player on this team in 2 years.
Do you think that we might have just had and I know a completely different sport, but that Patrick Mahomes moment? And the reason I say that is because you had Alex Smith on your team. Alex Smith was a heck of a quarterback. He was a elite game manager, you might say, but he was somebody that put up great numbers, was going to get you down the field, score touchdowns for you. And they watched Patrick Mahomes in the last game of that season, and they all looked around and they said, "Oh my God, we gonna have to trade Andy Dalton, or we gonna have to trade Alex Smith."
I really
did. We just have that moment with Pat Mahomes where, the game's meaningless. People are doing things different, but just the way it looked and felt, I was like,
I've always said it from the beginning of the season. Like I said, what I said about Dosunmu, and I'm glad that I was proven wrong on that. What I said about when DeMar was signed, I said this is the Bulls giving Patrick Williams 3 years to turn into the player that they need to turn into. It's giving him a mentor. It's also taking the scoring load off him. He doesn't have to be a big-time scorer for us because we have DeMar, because we have Vooch, because we have Lonzo. And so they really created a situation in which it's like, all right, Pat, you got 3 years to develop this aggression in offense. And Pat has looked at this and said, hey, if Pat would have not gotten hurt, we very well could have been talking about at the All-Star break, it moving from whatever it was to Patrick Williams being an offensive force for the Chicago Bulls.
You think the Cleveland Cavaliers came into this season saying, "Hey, Colin Sexton, you ain't the answer"?
Yeah. So
You know what I'm saying? Like now they leaving this season talking about, "Hey, what you sending me for Colin Sexton?"
Oh man, he is out of there. He is out of there.
But you never know how things shake up, and that's the point of it, dog. Like sometimes it takes a player proving to himself and the coach, "Nah, it's my time to come out here and be this dude."
Yeah.
And I think this is the time for P. Will to do that.
Yeah. Hey, listen, P. Will is going to go into this offseason, I think, with a lot of confidence, hopefully. And then for us to see what that develops into at the start of preseason, at the start of the season, it's gonna listen, I'm so excited about the develop. And the one thing too that I've realized about Patrick Williams is that once he realizes his strength, the sky's gonna be the limit. Because he damn, who was it? It wasn't Darnell Mayberry. I can't somebody said after the game the fact that Patrick Williams was fouled 14 times and not once did you see him on the floor.
Hey, bro.
Like
P. Will run into people, and it really reminds me of Giannis. Not to say that I think he's going to be that level player. I really think Giannis is going to be one of the greatest players to ever hold a basketball.
of all time, absolutely.
But
yeah,
when people bump into P. Will, they now like difference last year. Remember how P. Will was like, "Hey, y'all know I felt that." Like when people run into P. Will, you saw Giannis coming full speed, bump into P. Will and pick up his dribble, and it like shocked him a little bit. Like, the heck was that? Like,
yeah,
dog, it's wild to see now. I'm just looking, I'm like,
at
hey,
20 years old, fam. 20 years old. Like, yeah, Pat is gonna be a beast, man. But yeah, that is it. You got anything left before we end today's episode?
Hey man, we got a long week of being excited about being in the playoffs here, man. We just had to bust off with this with this episode, just reflecting on it, man. Shout out to all the Bulls fans. First off, shout out to everybody that shows up and shows us love, man. You guys are awesome. The fact that y'all just welcomed us in, man. We had over 1,000 views on there, over 100 likes on that last video, man. Keep that up. Shout out to y'all.
Absolutely, man. Thank you. The support that we've gotten. I can tell, be honest right here. I did not expect us to get it as soon as what we got. I really did think people were going to be in and look like, man, I don't know about these new guys, but they really have welcomed us, and it doesn't go unnoticed. We definitely appreciate it, and we feel the love, and we hope that as we add more of our own flavor to Locked On Bulls, especially over the offseason, we hope that we continue to get you guys support at the level we have been.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Hey, follow me on everything at Pat the Designer. That's at PATTHEDESIGNER. As I did go to public school, but they taught me how to spell. Also follow us on everything at Locked On Bulls.
All right. And then you can follow me at CEO Hayes. That's CEO HAIZE. And thank you for making us your first listen of the day. Now make your second listen Locked On Bulls. Well, they are covered by the Locked On experts. Make sure you go over there. They're available wherever podcasts are available. But that is it from us for today. Another dub for JV. We in this month. And we will see you lovely and beautiful people tomorrow. Peace, y'all.
Stay safe out there, man.